What I did was I mixed together a new sound effects record, the sounds of love, and intertwined it with some folk music from France. Now back to something a little more traditional. Hope you enjoyed it. Hi, what's the matter?
Don't, what's the matter, me? I heard what's going on in here.
What are you all doing in here? Hey, come on, artist at work.
Eric.
I'm trying to create. Out.
I know you want to hear all the sounds of the old vinyl, but we're here this week in ds106 to talk about creating audio. We've already talked about listening to audio and the way it works in week 2. Now it's time to make audio. Now listen very carefully. This is not a sterile room, okay? It's kind of dirty. But there's a lot of sound here. I don't know if you can hear it. There's some wind blowing in the chimes in the background. There's a rumbling from the back room where my washing machine is going. And the sound of the radio. There are layers of sound right here in this room. And I want you to be thinking about those layers when you put together your own audio editing this week. When you hear blank spaces between parts of your audio as you're editing it together, it sounds artificial. That's not the way the world sounds. So hang on a second while I reduce some of the sound. Maybe that's a little bit more clear. I can't do anything about the wind blowing outside, and it sounds kind of nice. But again, sound, I don't have to tell you what sound is. There's lots of ways. I got my old-time stereo here. We listen to our iPhones. Sound is a part of everyday lives. But do we ever think about what we can create in just sound alone? And that's going to be your work this week. So not a whole lot of reading or watching videos, etc. Just getting there and doing sound. So first of all, there's some setup things that you're going to have to do. And you really need to be doing this early in the week because there's a learning curve here of things that are going to probably be new to most of you. So first of all, you need to create an account on the site called soundcloud.com. And it's a place for you to upload and store and even record some of the sounds you might be using for your projects. The main reason is your WordPress.com blogs, they're looking great, and you've been able to upload all kinds of images and image files to it and put them in your blog, but you can't upload sound files unless you pay extra. And anyhow, it's worth learning about other tools. So SoundCloud is kind of like the YouTube for sound files, if you will, and it's a place where you can upload sounds and they go into your own account. And the beauty is, once they're in SoundCloud, you can actually embed them really nicely into your blog with just the URL. So you get this nice audio player right in your blog post. You don't have to click away to go listen to the sound. You get to listen to it right in the context of your blog post. So you need to create a SoundCloud.com account. It's free. You can record up to 2 hours of audio files, upload there to them. It took me almost 2 years of ds106 work before I filled it up, and I put a lot of stuff there. So room is probably not going to be a problem. The other thing that you're going to need is you're going to have some audio editing software. Now you may already have something. If you have a Mac, you probably have a program called GarageBand. If you have a PC, I don't know what the software is on PCs. You might have Adobe Audition, sound editing software. And editing is really important here because you're going to need to build not just sequences of sound, but layers of sound. Remember talking about layers of sound? And that's why you need a multi-track sound editor. You need more than just something like your phone that will allow you to record sound. You need something that you're going to be able to edit it. Just like you use Microsoft Word to be able to edit text. You copy and paste it, you move it around, you rearrange it. That's what you do with sound editors. If you don't have software, it's not a problem. There's a great free program. It's open source. It's called Audacity. Audacity. Be audacious. That's the one I use for all my sound editing. It's a great piece of software. It does everything that I possibly need. So you're going to have to download and install this new piece of software. That's going to take time. Do not wait until Saturday night. Do it first thing in the week. Make sure you get the software installed. And there's this extra little thing that you have to add that allows you to be able to export your sound as MP3 sound files, because that's the ultimate goal of what you want. So what we're doing this week is a couple sound creation activities. One's called the sound effects story. And it sounds kind of strange. You're going to try to tell a story with just sound effects, no dialogue. And I want you to be able to go out on the web and find sound effects from some different sites to include into your story. So a lot of stories are, alien landings. I did one where I kind of threw my keys in a lake. But the whole point is to think still about the idea of a story, as we did in the beginning of the course. Think about, what is the shape of my story? What is the spine? Where's the character in the beginning? Do we introduce it? Do we put him into a situation? And then does it get resolved? And then, hopefully, does it say something bigger than just a series of events? What does it tell us about life? So sound effects story is your first sound editing exercise to do. I do it because it gives you a little bit of opportunity to practice your sound editing, downloading sounds and putting it into SoundCloud and then getting it into your blog post. The second assignment, we get into this thing called Foley, which I don't know if you ever heard of it before. Actually, I didn't until someone told me about it. Foley is the way sound is added to movies. The sound that you hear in movies is never directly recorded into the microphone. There are sound experts who add these extra sounds, like when there's ever a fist fight scene and all that. That's usually some guys later adding like thumping pillows or whacking together books or something like that. So there's a whole creative field of making sound effects. So you're going to get a chance to practice doing some Foley sound. I have a clip of a Charlie Chaplin video where he's in the lion cage. Of course, Charlie Chaplin, it's silent, or maybe it just has music. And what you're going to do is you're going to have a 30-second segment for which you're going to have to figure out, find some objects around you that you can record, and this is one you can just do as a recording, a 30-second clip where you make the sounds that could go with that scene. So there's a door opening, so figure out, how do I make a creaky door sound? There's footsteps, so can I whack on a table to simulate the sound of footsteps? It's a chance to practice your inventiveness with creating sounds. Post it to SoundCloud, write a blog post on it. And then third, I'm going to ask you to do one more audio sound story assignment from the ds106 assignment bank. And that's the sound creation that we're going to be doing this week. It's going to take some time if you've never done this before. Do not wait until Sunday. You can't do this stuff in one night. Space your work out. I'm going to ask you again to do some thinking on final project ideas, a little bit of a variation this time around. And in your commenting this week, I want you to be looking at your classmates' blog post, but look for their sound files on SoundCloud, because you can actually attach comments within certain segments of someone else's sound. So if you find, say, Francine's audio story is really good, and 4 minutes and 25 seconds in, you have a suggestion or you have a bit of, how did you create that sound? You can attach it actually within the sound file. It's pretty amazing, right? Anyhow, it's all about sound. What can we tell stories? What can we tell? What can we tell when I actually practice saying this? What can we tell in terms of stories with just sound? So I might ask my friend Herman there on the wall. Can you hear? Herman, what else should they know this week? Did you hear what Herman said? That's a very wise skull. ds106, it's all about sound and making stories this week. See you next week.